Welcome back to Slingshot Disc Golf. Today I'm going to give you my top 3 tips on how to hit gaps and how to practice for it. Let's get into it. If you're new to the channel, I'm a backhand form specialist. Players come to me when they're stuck at 400 feet and they want to get to 500 feet. Now, disc golf is based on the foundation that you don't have to be able to do it to teach it. I pride myself on being able to throw and teach how to throw. But when it comes to hitting gaps, I'm not going to hit 10 out of 10 gaps. I don't have a whole lot of time to play disc golf, so I'm not going to be able to show up and just hit every single gap. But I am capable of hitting gaps. I just spent 2 hours practicing gaps. And I got so much better already. I can already tell that I'm learning my discs more. Now I just need to put in that 10,000 hours, which who's got that kind of time, right? These are just my opinions, but I think that they're gonna be really helpful because I have used these techniques with clients in the past. Tip number 1, and this is a beginner concept. One of the fundamental issues with disc golf instruction and why so many people struggle with form. I hope you realize that 99% of people who play disc golf do not have pro form. They struggle with the fundamentals. One of the main reasons is because people line up like ball golf. Disc golf is an entirely different way to line up your body so that you can hit a gap, hit your target. To make it simple, if that's my gap and it's golf, I'm gonna line up parallel to my target. If I'm left-handed, that is. Disc golf is way more rotational than ball golf. Ball golf is a very compact movement. I used to shoot in the 70s, so I know. It's a very compact movement. It's rotational, but it's just really compact. Disc golf, very rotational, using the whole body much more athletically, at least at the highest level. So if you line up like ball golf, and I take this Cosmic Fury, Kyle Klein Signature Series Lux Vapor Logic, imagine that for a YouTube title, and I line up like this, the only way to hit that line is to pull on a straight line. I'm gonna have to put it here and try to keep it on a line and try to throw it down that line. There's 2 problems with that. One, it's so hard to repeat that. It just is. It's extremely hard to repeat that. It's possible, but it's hard. Number 2, once you start getting more athletic, you start using your back leg more, you start using more rotation, you start getting more power as you advance through the game, you're gonna line up like this and you're gonna create all this torque and power and you're gonna okay, that wasn't a good example. Because there's a family over there I don't want to hit. You're going to create all this torque and power and you're going to throw it all the way to the right. You're going to think it's grip lock. You're going to hear grip lock. No, you lined up like ball golf, a much more fundamental issue. If I line up like this, I'm going to now create space by extending out. I'm going to rotate. I'm going to release right here and it's going to go down that line. Okay? That is a natural, repeatable motion. This is disc golf. It is not ball golf. It is crushing your form and your accuracy. In my opinion, that's form fact. The next 2 tips are really just based on my opinion and my personal experience. Number 2 is figure out what shots you need in your game. There's a lot to unpack here, so pay attention. Professional disc golfers have every kind of shot. Why is that? 10,000 hour rule. That's why they're pros. They put in hours and hours and hours and hours. And if you put in 10,000 hours, you're gonna run into every kind of shot and you're gonna practice every kind of shot. That's not reality for most of us. If you're training to become a pro, you gotta put in 10,000 hours into all your shots. But if you're not, if you're like me, who has a full-time job where I can't just go out and hit gaps, I gotta pick the shots that are most important to me. For example, there's a 280-foot straight hole on my home course. So I have to throw it dead straight through a gap, about as big as that, and it has to go dead straight. Hole number 4, it eats at my brain when I start a round, right? I know that hole's coming, and if I can just hit that gap, it's like the best feeling in the world, and I'm gonna get a birdie for sure, and then I'm gonna maybe have a chance at a new PR, low score, maybe even the course record. This is a very important shot to me. So what I have to do is I have to prioritize a 280-foot straight shot. And then I have to figure out how many hours I have to practice. Let's say I have 2 hours a week. Well, I need to go to that hole and I need to practice at that hole for 2 hours a week so that when I get up to that shot, I can hit it. Then when I go to other courses and I run into a 280-foot shot, I have that. Once I have that down, you go on to the next shot, right? So now that I've established the shot that I want, the next thing I have to do is figure out what disc I use for a 280-foot straight shot. I just figured out what that disc is because I spent 2 hours just going through my discs, throwing them all 280 feet or trying to, figuring out what worked best for me. So now you know that you have to take all your mids and putters, maybe go buy some new plastic, that always feels real nice. Go out there and you throw them all and you figure out what works best. So here's my rule within a rule for what works best. You do whatever is easiest. I think a huge problem that people have, I know I had it in the past, is, and I see it all the time, throwing the disc you're supposed to throw. So like if it's 280 feet, it's like, oh, I should be throwing a putter 280 feet. I should be throwing a putter 300 feet because that's what you're supposed to do. That's what the pros can do. I don't know if it's an ego thing or what. It's definitely an ego thing. But for me, I found out that the Meteor, oh, I already threw it. That's why I threw it. The Meteor, which is a mid-range that at times I could probably throw 350, maybe even 400 in a field if I really ripped on it. The Meteor is best for my 280-foot shot. Why is that? Because I can hit that shot with way less effort. It's like I'm clubbing down with a mid-range instead of clubbing up with a putter. It's just easier. At the end of the day, it's not about what other people are throwing or what you're supposed to throw. It's about what's easiest to get there. The next thing is angle control, right? Sometimes you might hyzer flip it straight. That might be the easier shot. Or sometimes you try to release flat, which I find very difficult to repeat. Hyzer flips are easier for me to throw straight. But I also think it's easier to throw flat in terms of physically because I don't have to get into an athletic position for a hyzer. It's like I can just kind of stand up. Throwing flat is not that consistent for me, but with the Meteor, for some reason, when I go to throw flat, even if I go like a little anhyzer or a little hyzer, it for some reason just was going straight every time. It's a very forgiving disc. So at the end of the day, I choose the Meteor at 280 feet, and now I just need to keep practicing that Meteor and dial it in through time. So that's how I picked the disc for that shot. So there was like 3 tips within that tip, but now we're on to main tip number 3. This is not rocket science, but I do believe it is true. How do you hit the gap during a round? Or even worse, tournament play? Well, you have to stay loose because now nerves come into play. You better have your form already muscle memory dialed. You better not be working on your form, trying to hit a gap at the same time, not gonna work because you don't wanna be thinking about your form. What you wanna do is you wanna relax yourself before you X-step, and then when you X-step and you make the whole movement, try to stay relaxed the whole time. Try to breathe and stay relaxed because now you're fighting the nerves. You're not fighting technique, you're fighting the nerves. And then obviously more reps, you're going to perform better. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to the 10,000 hour rule. How much time you put in is how good you're gonna get, crows. Hopefully that was helpful. Leave a comment. Tell me if you like this new content because I'm gonna be really switching the focus to accuracy, angle control, and just playing on the course. You're gonna see me on the course a lot more, and I'm gonna start playing a lot more disc golf because I wanna improve. I already know how to slingshot the disc. Time to get good at disc golf. Slingshots for everybody. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Oh, that's nice. From Junior Worlds to a basket in Bandon, Oregon. Get in the hole. It's too overstable. Oh. I like that thing. Rock 3. No way. No way. Oh.
Uh-oh. Flex.
Jeez. Oh, wow. Did it go over?
Yeah. Let's go.